Good morning, everybody. It is mid-April sometime, probably about the 11th. I'd have to double check. And it's kind of miserable outside. It's windy and cold. And they're forecasting us. What's that? Oh. Anyways, they're forecasting us to get a Colorado low, kind of nasty blizzard. We're not getting the worst of it. Sounds like North Dakota and Manitoba will get the worst, but we're still looking at, up to a foot of snow, probably not quite. And there's special weather statements out. There's what's the other one they said Weather Network said worst blizzard in years, and usually these April blizzards are nasty. So I've got a couple inside jobs that I'm saving for Wednesday, Thursday when it's going to be snowy and gross. So today's Monday, got to the farm, and I knew Dad got the Delta track out. I just didn't know he hooked onto the cedar, which is great. He pulled it up onto the high ground here. Let's take a look at what we're going to be getting into in the next couple of days. As always, quick reminder to like and subscribe if you enjoy what I'm doing. Throw me some questions or comments. I always appreciate the feedback. And if there's stuff that you would like to see more of, by all means, let me know. So we've got the Delta track. Isn't that just a lovely looking unit? I love the look of this tractor. It'll look really good. Hopefully next year we're upgrading the cedar, and we're about 99% likely to go to a Vaderstad, which is still Seed Hawk, but they're owned by is it Swedish company or Norwegian? I can't remember what Vaderstad actually is, the parent company now. But what I'm hoping to do is go to a 70 foot with the 980 cart with full blockage and the inline points and the scales on the tanks. So let's take a look at what we've got to do. So last year we replaced all these hoses. I see they're sagging a bit there. My quick fix didn't really hold last year, so I'm going to make a little bracket just to raise those. Probably about a foot. And then I'll do it with probably U-bolts just to make it really good. So these tires are getting replaced, all 4 of those. So we'll start into that hopefully this week. I was talking at the tire shop. They said they just showed up last week. So most of those guys need replaced. They don't look bad from a distance, but you get pretty close and a lot of the cords are showing, stuff like that. On these guys, we have new wear plates. I think these guys are fine. These guys get replaced, and the Connex bushings in those and there all get replaced. We're replacing, these are OEM, so they're Seed Hawk fertilizer knives. Replacing these with Dutch, and then the seed goes to also the Dutch, but it's going to be the in row, so it's got the offset. And from a cursory glance, it looks pretty simple. The seed ones, actually, they don't have a rubber. They're a steel chute. So they end up with a clamp on top. We'll talk about that later. Looks like we got a hose that needs replaced. There will be a few of those. So last year we changed all of these out to the Borgo semi-pneumatic. They're slightly different, but they work than the Seed Hawk ones, but they work just the same. These tires are good. Probably need just a kiss of air. got to put the blockage system on. That goes on. Pretty sure I have one ECU per tower pair, sorry, so should have 8. That's the job I'm going to be doing on Wednesday probably. We'll be going through that, making sure everything's set up. There's a little bit of pre-assembly required for that. These hoses typically need replaced every year, but we shall see. These bearings, both sides, will get replaced. That's the bulk of the work. There's always a few hoses, odds and ends. There's a few of the shank hoses that will need replacing, I think. Not sure what Dad's banging on. And gonna have to run the electrical for the blockage. So there'll be a main cable that comes up to here, and then a tractor connector. And this thing I gotta double check, because I might need to order a convenience plug splitter. Oh, is that wind cold today? It appears so. Damn. So these convenience plugs, oh, inhaled something. Excuse me. So these convenience plugs, one of them, there's actually 3 poles. The bottom one is ground. Pretty sure if I remember right, that one is always power. That one's key power. And the other's ground. Now there's only 2 of them on this tractor that I can see. And I know the blockage system hooks into those. So we shall see. I may end up rewiring the camera, which is not that big of a deal, and just run it down inside somewhere, down in there. That's probably the solution. Yeah, it's not a lot of fun working under there. And the other thing I may do is I may put an iPad mount here or 2. I just gotta see. You would think there's a good spot to get power, because I have some USB adapter plugs. So the Intelligent Ag blockage system is Apple based, which is nice because the Climate Field View is also Apple based. I could have gone with the Agtron, but it was Android based, and everybody said this one's a bit better. A little more money, but better. And it is the same as what's on the newer Seed Hawks. So we'll get Dad trained up to run that, so that when we do upgrade, he's already in the know. The kicker here is that they recommend 2 iPads. In theory, you could run them both off the same one, because one is Bluetooth and one is Wi-Fi. So the Climate Field View is Bluetooth, and the Intelligent Ag is Wi-Fi. It's a lot of data going through there, and I've heard it recommended because you can crash them. So we don't want that. And I would like to free up some space over there. I kind of feel like it would be handy to put one. So the hope is I can put 1, if not 2, of the iPads up front here. So I do have a window mount kit that came with the Climate Field View. So we could suction it there. I'm not a big fan of window mounts, if I'm honest. For a few different reasons. One is they always seem to fall off when it gets cold. Number two is you're really stuck with just a flat angle, so sometimes they're hard to see. And three is you're stuck to doing it at the window, far over there or there. So I like to put the ball mounts on, because then you can tilt them or twist them to whatever you want. And usually when I do that, I end up making an aluminum backer plate, so that's good hard stuff there, but I still like to beef it up just a hair. This morning, we've got all these inline points assembled. They're a Seed Hawk adapter, and then you can get different points for them. So these are the offset. I'll show you how they line up later. So we got a whole pallet of them, so 60. And it is cold and miserable out. Oh, yeah. Well, those are the new fertilizer knives. Those are what are going to suck the most. It's really no fun ramming the plastic into those rubber boots. You can see Dad cruising on the road. He's going to bring the seeder around. And we're going to back up and work on the cart. What in the world is dragging there? Go a little further ahead, get squared off, Dad. You don't want to do that. He can, and he will. I would have just pulled ahead another 20 feet. There's a lot of articulation going on there. And the easiest way to do it is to not do it. Just to keep it nice and straight. But he's a master at his craft. Keep her coming, keep her coming. Good enough. So what did we tackle today? Well, we got this one done. Tanks 1 and 2. It's actually kind of backwards because it goes 1, 2, 3. I don't know why. It bugs me. Anyhow, we got tank 3 done. So we have to take this off, take the roller out, the bearing off the other side, take this out, we end up putting a new bearing in behind there on both sides, and a new bearing. So there's a bearing that stays on the shaft, and there's a bearing that stays on the housing. I think we have a spare roller in here. I shouldn't say that this isn't our spare. This is the roller that we use for wheat. Yeah, so our cereals roller. So the process is This one's actually got a roll pin that you got to knock out. You pull this guy off. You knock out that pin, probably the other way because it's swollen. You pull the bearing off. And then you put everything back together the opposite way. Now we might need new roller. The ones for the fertilizer are not, these are called helical. The ones for the fertilizer are straight. Not sure why. I would have to look at the numbers. But yeah, they're getting a little bit undersized, and ever so slightly there's a bit of a cup to it. So I'm pretty sure all that you got to do is there's a snap ring on this end. You pop that guy off, you run a sawzall along it, and then you start you peel them off and restack it. So we did that, and we did the agitator ones on tank 3. So that's what we got done today. We also had to do a couple other things. By the time we got organized and found all of our spare parts, and I'll grab my knife before I forget it. Come on, you. I'm not normally doing this left-handed. Yeah, so by the time we got all of our parts organized, and oh, we did. I think I showed you we did these already, but show you again. That's the inline seed shanks. So they're, I keep on saying inline, and they're inline because the two shanks run in line, but the points are offset. So it'll work out that the, why am I trying to describe this out here when I can describe it over there? So it'll end up working out that this guy goes on the opposite side, and that's really all we need to change on this design. Is we flip this one to the underside of here, and then the two shanks end up running in line, so you can't really do it, but the seed placement ends up being pretty much the same. So that's ideal seed placement right there. If you can see the center line on the tire, and then you have your offset. Here, I'll get to where it should be. I'm having to exaggerate this a hair, but proper seed or proper placement is this seed is at whatever depth. Typically we are between 3/4 and 1.25 inches, depending on what we are planting and how wet or dry the soil is. This guy is adjustable, but it is harder to adjust. You have to take bolts out. This one is easy to adjust because you just have to pull a pin and do a little turn, and then you dump it in this whatever slot. And so proper seed or proper placement ends up being that the fertilizer, kind of like this, if I get in line, the fertilizer ends up about 1/2 inch deeper, 1/4 to 1/2 inch deeper than the seed. That's the seed shank, that's the fertilizer knife, or knife on both. And off to the side, about 3/4 inch separation. Now, these new points will do the same thing. It's just that they will be in a row so that all the extra junk, like the seed, will be placed in the same spots, you know, about 3/8 inch or so off center that way, and these guys in the same spot. It's just that when we're running through, all the trash is only going to see a straight line, and then at the very end there's a little bump. So the theory is that these should clear trash a lot better, and we should end up doing a lot less harrowing. So that's why we were doing that. And for those that were paying attention, was this Saturday will be a year ago when I sliced my finger wide open on these guys. We were replacing all of them last year, and you can see how much erosion happens on these in 1 year. That's worn down to a razor point, and that's, whoa, that's original thickness there. You can just see how thin they get there. To nothing, literally nothing. That's bad. The new points, the seed points, don't have that. Let's go take a quick look. So that's a new seed point. It'll go through the ground like that. As you can see, there is no stainless steel wear plate. And the thing I like about it is that there's no rubber boot, because those boots are a real prick to stuff them in. So you end up with a hose clamp right there, around there. And yeah, so they warn us that, everybody warns us that there could be, the warning is that there could be more plugging, especially if you turn the wrong way. And I believe the wrong way is in the same direction as the bend. And I hope for us the wrong way is to the left, because I would rather go clockwise around something than counterclockwise. 2 reasons is that, well, and there, it's kind of reason 1 and 1A is that, and like, people are different. My uncle, he would prefer to go on the left side all day long. He's said that numerous times. I like to be able to look at my gauges or whatever on the right and not have to keep going there. Like, it's a matter of just panning the eyes up and down. That's why I like to go on the right. So yeah, and then you're not cranking. So it's the same reason. It's just 2 reasons to the 1 reason. So we are pretty sure that we will be going around sloughs clockwise. I really hope I'm right on that. Anyhow, that's the end of our day today. We're going to try and finish off the cart as much as possible tomorrow. We're going to check the air. We're going to do hopefully all 4 remaining rollers, so the 2 meter rollers and the 2 agitators, as well as doing some greasing and probably replace. I have that guy in my other truck right now. We usually try and hammer. I also have that one, so we'll replace both of those, and we'll put that one on. We have that one. It was brand new last year, and we didn't want it to rust out, so we took it off. And I think they sent me the wrong ones of this, so probably won't do that. But check the tire air, make sure everything else is lubed up, and we'll probably end up, I don't know if we'll run the conveyor or not. It takes a while for the fans to warm up. We're gonna have to make sure that we're ready for the storm to roll in. So we're gonna end up parking this guy way over out of the way, so that if there is a wicked westerly wind, that there's not a giant snowbank over here covering up that truck. Not that we use it, it's just that it takes forever to melt, and then it dribbles through, and this whole yard gets wet, like all that way, all the way out to the road. I don't even know if I'm filming this right. Yeah, so all the way out to the road becomes just a soupy mess until the big pile of snow melts. So our focus is to hopefully have this cart done tomorrow as much as possible. And then once things warm up a little bit, we'll start tackling the toolbar.